And hello, here we are. It is 2019 Independence Day festivities. Here with all the gang, right here at the CCA. How are you today, Susan?
I'm just fine. This is our second year of doing this, or third year?
This is our second year of doing this.
In the gallery.
Yeah. So there's no more Hoda and Kathy Lee. Yeah. So we are what you get now. Sorry. Hi, Paul Cohen. How are you?
Great to be here. Thanks for having me.
We were thinking about having some wine, in the spirit of Hoda and Kathy. But then I thought we didn't really think through the details. Like, do we have wine for everybody? Like, who would be the bartender?
I know. It was too
we didn't really think it through, so we passed on that idea.
Okay.
So right on time. It's about 150 degrees outside.
In the sun, yes.
In the sun. Yeah, but we are in here in the CCA with the nice AC and the nice art show.
Mm-hmm.
Well, this is an interesting art show because there are only 2 pictures in it.
Only 2 pictures?
In the gallery art show.
Well, wow. What? So what's the deal with that?
Well, we were given 2 pictures. One is an oil painting and one is a pencil sketch by Betty Matson, who called me and said, my friend wants to give me some pictures, and I know you like art, Sue, so I'll give it to you. Now, I assumed she meant give it to the CCA, so we went from there. I said, may I see can you send me a picture of what it is? And I said, oh, okay. What about the back? Can you show me the back? And I saw it said William Kingsland on it, the painting, and I thought, well, maybe that's who the artist is. So she said, well, I'll just bring them by. In the meantime, I searched. William Kingsland, AKA Melvin Cohn, was an art thief in New York City, and he passed away in about 2006. Saying with intestate, no will, and he didn't say he had any relatives. So when the Manhattan public administrator went to close out the estate and they went into the apartment, there were hundreds of works of art.
Stolen?
So, yes. So when they went to auction them off at Christie's, it was discovered there was a Giacometti sculpture. I mean, there were all kinds of things, and they were stolen. So the FBI came in, and this was before they had really built a stolen art database online. It's like now people post, there are places you can go if something's been stolen, you can show a pic, but this is before that. And so these 2 works of art, one is, it looks like an 18th century oil painting of a woman holding a fan,
right there, yeah.
And the other one is a pencil sketch, and they appear to be it appears to be an 18th century painting, and it appears to be an 18th century drawing. But I contacted the FBI. I'm waiting for them to talk with me about
you think this is from?
Oh, no, I know it is.
Wow.
I know these things were from
So don't you have to give it back?
No, because they couldn't figure out who it belonged to.
Oh.
So
wow.
That was why they ended up tracking down heirs.
Yeah.
And Betty knows one of the heirs, and he had them in the attic and wasn't doing anything with them. So he gave them to her, so she gave them to us. And I decided that it would be fun to say, can you solve this art theft mystery? I mean, where did these come from? What are they?
Interesting. Very, very interesting.
So people come in and check it out.
Art mystery. What do I think about art mysteries? All right, so here we are.
He must have been very talented if he accumulated that much stolen art.
He was a talented thief.
How do you sell stolen art? Well, I guess you don't, really. I mean, how do you sell it?
Yeah, I guess he didn't, apparently.
Well, no, he did. I mean,
did.
there are ways to do that, but the FBI doesn't look too kindly on that.
So let's talk about Independence Day. We're here in the
Chelmsford.
CCA, all kinds of stuff going on in the Common.
Yeah.
The traffic was getting crazy.
Well, that's every day now in Chelmsford.
It is every day. It is every day.
But yes, the other roads are cordoned off, so it's nice and quiet by the Common tonight. But you're right, all the ancillary roads are pretty packed. Yeah.
So what does the town of Chelmsford have to do to pull all of this off?
Well, a lot of it's based on volunteers. I mean, you've got the Lions Club across the Common, sort of organizing the logistics of all the volunteer organizations that have come in, whether it's the Fry Dough people or the Democratic Town Committee or the Alumni Association. So it's all the logistics of the organization. And then obviously the heart of it will be tomorrow with the Volunteer Parade Committee, which is worked year round to organize bands and militia groups and others to participate in the parade. So that's sort of the key really is dependent on volunteers. And then of course you've got the professionals behind us, the fire department doing fire safety because you've got a lot of activities going on, cooking and so forth, Board of Health's out there. The police department is covered everywhere in terms of, crowd safety and DPW helping out with the perimeter and so forth. And of course you get telemedia. Here, with your large vehicle and and production, for the event we're taping this evening right now, and then we've got the concert coming on with the community band and so forth. So the heart of it all is volunteers coming together in Chelmsford spirit.
Moving pieces, and really to work, all the pieces have to kind of move together more or less seamlessly, right?
Yeah.
Tomorrow you've got the road race, and then you've got the parade. It's just a lot of people that have to be.
Yep.
In a certain place at a certain time.
And in a way it works is you've got people who are repetitive. So the people that were here last year sort of train their successors, and then so you've got people who how many years have you been involved with the activities?
Oh my goodness,
where you then have
30
you then have that
years in the
institutional
town, right.
so you have that institutional knowledge about how things ought to go and where and obviously here being your second year inside here, it's the logistics all come in over time. So
it's true. I got here before other people were here.
Yeah, exactly.
What's happening? Nobody's here. It's just me. So what's the toughest thing to pull this off? Like, what's the one thing every year that always goes wrong?
Well, the biggest challenge is the weather. We don't control that.
You don't control
They don't control
that.
the
I bet
weather.
you get blamed
You get
for
blamed
it,
for it,
though, a
though.
few times,
So that's our biggest concern because if there's threat of inclement weather, then it diminishes the crowds. And if we've had thunderstorms in the middle of the event, then it just drives people away. So this year we're very fortunate. It's warm, but it's clear weather for today and for the parade tomorrow. So we're expecting very large crowds this evening, and they're already assembling here on the Common. I was over by the Rotary train ride, and just after 5 o'clock, they were already backed up. So the kids are out, the parents, and it's just a great time to see your friends and neighbors.
Yeah, it really is a great
Have you
event.
ever seen anything like this before? Before I moved here, I'd never seen a 4th of July event where there was the little fair and the parade.
And a whole 2-day extravaganza. And I always think of 4th of July, you're in your backyard,
Right.
you go see some fireworks and you go home.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
In the small towns, the parade's over in about 20 minutes. Here it's a 2-hour parade.
right. That's just a lot of people. When you go to Disney, right? They are like so good at shuttling enormous numbers of people. But I feel like we do it pretty well here too, because
Paul's thinking of when he retires, going to Florida and working for Disney.
So what's your favorite part of the Independence Day festivities?
I think the favorite part is the parade because, and it's really seeing the people along the parade route because it's sort of that Americana feeling where people are proud of their country, they're proud to come out in the event, and they're excited, and they applaud the participants who come by, whether it's the bands or the militia groups, the elected officials and so forth, and people are just in a great mood. And I think that's the exciting part because oftentimes in my role, you don't hear from people who are always in a good mood. Usually they're not. That's why they're coming to you. But there, it's just everybody's happy. It's a great day. People are enjoying themselves. They're glad to be out. And again, it's a community gathering. I think that's really what
And it's
behind
safe.
it all.
When I moved here, my sons were, I think, 4 and 7, something like that. And the first 4th of July, I was like, stay here by me. What is all this going on? My husband was like, look at this crowd. Do you really think anything's going to happen to them? And then I learned, your kids can go and do things on their own, and it's safe. We all kind of know each other. There's always somebody who knows somebody who knows somebody.
Yeah.
So the interesting thing to me with the parade is that it's all volunteer.
Well, who run it?
It's run by
Yeah.
volunteers.
Yeah.
Like they start the day after, July 5th,
Yeah.
and they start working on the next year's.
Yeah, they'll look at what went well this year, what needs to be improved upon, and then it's a year-round event.
And then they have to find the money for it.
About how much money does it cost for the parade?
They'll spend over $40,000 in bands, and then when you add up everything else, it's approaching about $70,000. That's for a big 2-hour gathering.
So the banners that a lot of people don't know
A lot of
this,
the revenue comes from the banner
banners that are
sales,
on
yeah.
the light posts,
Yep.
that's the source of revenue
Right,
for them.
primary source
Right,
of the banner for the
right.
summer and winter banners that are sold. That's the primary source of revenue. And then they're also a band sponsor. So if XYZ Corporation wants to sponsor the the high school marching band, then they get a banner and then they pay a fee to sponsor the bands. So that's really your revenue sources for the parade.
That's
So
great.
there's no tax dollars involved.
That's amazing.
in pulling
I mean,
off the parade.
I think
It is
that's
amazing.
I think that's amazing.
Yeah.
I also didn't know that the bands got paid to come, and
Yeah.
that also that the bands can go to multiple parades.
Right, like for example, our parade's at 10 a.m. We'll often have bands who'll say, well, we'll come to Chelmsford in the morning, and then we'll go to Wakefield for their 2 p.m. parade. So they'll come in. We have also bands coming in from Canada, so they'll stay at the McCarthy School this evening. They'll march in the morning, and then they'll have another parade to go to later in the day.
They must be exhausted.
Yeah, but it's a fun period for them.
Yes.
Then they stay a weekend, in Massachusetts, and they have a great time. And it's worked. I mean, we've been over 50 years, consecutive years of parades in town. So it's a great formula. It's a lot of fun, and it's just like I said, it's just a great gathering to see everybody again.
Now, I wonder, do you know who's in charge of the food to make sure that there's like enough variety? Like what is out there?
That just
That's-
happenstance. Yeah, that just happenstance. But most of the vendors are repeat vendors. So you're always going to get that Italian sausage, and so forth. So yeah, so a lot of it is just repeat.
It's the lobster
The
rolls,
lobster rolls.
for
Yeah,
the
that's true.
scholarship.
Yeah, exactly. It's called lobster rolls, the fried dough and so
right.
forth. So it tends to be, like I said, recurring vendors as well.
Now, is there one person kind of organizing everything?
No, it really isn't. The Lions Club, like I said, organizes the country fair, which is tonight, and then the parade committee organizes the parade tomorrow, and then you've got the road race people, working, and then it's really public safety that oversees sort of the logistics of it, from coordination in terms of making sure that everything is safe, that they're able to get the road race in, and then the logistics of the parade coming right after it.
And the art show.
The art
And
show.
the
And the art show.
Chelmsford Art Society's.
That's right, because you can take a break
show.
from the heat, come on in, see some very, very nice
Exactly.
art. All right, well, thanks for
Thank you.
coming
Thank you for having me,
and
and
joining us here on the cozy couch.
Okay.
Too bad we didn't have wine. Maybe we can
Yeah.
figure out the logistics of that.
And thank you for being part of our tradition, because like I said, this is a repetitive year for you now, so we expect to see you every year as well.
Well, I have so much fun here in Chelmsford.
Yeah.
I know more people in Chelmsford than I know in Newburyport where I
right.
live. Because I'm,
Because you're here all the
You're all
time.
I'm here all the time and I get to go and interview people and tell fun stories. And so that's a very cool thing.
Great, so thank you, Diane.
Thank
Susan.
you.
We'll
You're
see you
welcome.
soon.
All righty.
Oops.
Oops. So
Thank you for being here.
we
Thank
are
you for
back.
having me. Thank
How
you.
are you?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing great.
Thank you.
So
Thank
what's
you for having me.
what are the state of the fires
department?
The state of fire, well, we actually had a fire today.
No.
Yeah, no, it was a little small little one. It was a gentleman on High Street. He just he jumped onto his bike. He went for a bike ride on the bike path, and as he's going down the bike path, he looks over. His house is on High Street, and he sees the fire trucks coming down. And he's just asking, geez, I wonder where they're going. So now he sees the trucks pulling over into the front of his house, gets off, circles around, small little electric fire. He's fine, no injuries, a little smoke damage in the house, but
So what?
So what do you, wait a minute, electrical fire, I always want to know, are we supposed to unplug everything before we leave?
know.
this was a very old fan. I say old, it's a box fan, metal box fan that apparently caught on fire. But because the house was built in the 1800s, had in the basement, so there was no combustibles around. So it was electrical in nature, smoked up the house. He got there quick. We got there, obviously from the center, so we were there within 4 minutes.
So who called? Because he didn't know.
Neighbors saw the smoke coming
Neighbors
out
saw the
the
smoke.
basement, yeah.
Wow. Wow. So
So there was a little excitement to the day.
that is.
Yes.
So
So.
what's the number one cause of fires in people's homes?
Well, usually it's electrical or unfortunately smoking. Those are our top two causes of fires. But,
Wow.
yeah, I mean, but I think in Chelmsford we're pretty fortunate because I think we do a pretty good job. I say we, the fire department. Fire prevention does a great job working with other agencies like the building department for code enforcement, the review plans for houses, and there's a lot of development. There's a lot of renovations going on. And what that affords us the opportunity to look at the house and update electrical.
Yeah.
So we kind of address those needs. So in Chelmsford, we're kind of lucky to have that opportunity, that bite at the apple to correct these issues.
Now, just recently, Chelmsford Fire Department was involved in a training session on the Merrimack River.
Yes, and this is a couple of years in the planning. And actually, what's good about this, it kind of, if you've seen locally, I think in the Lowell Sun or the Boston Globe, Laurie Trahan and some of the Congress people are trying to improve the wastewater plants.
Oh, yeah. Mhm.
Because of the pollutants and stuff going into the water
I'm
system.
making a documentary about that.
You are?
Yes.
So
Tell the
working
people.
with Mass DEP for the past couple of years, they've done this type of drill for coastal communities. They haven't really done it in the intercoastal communities. So we had a spill on the Merrimack back in 2017. We've done tabletop exercises, we've had discussions, but we want to do the real thing. We want to get out there. That's how firefighters learn. We want to
By
get out there
doing.
and do it.
So it wasn't just the fire department, though.
No,
right?
it was.
So just tell us about what this drill was.
Well, so what we did is we simulated a spill. We had a sheen in 2017, an actual, looked like a rainbow sheen on the river. So of course that led to the
Gross.
discussion, gross, but also how do you protect the water? That provides water. The Merrimack provides water to Lowell, Methuen, Tewksbury, Southern New Hampshire, over 500,000 people.
Yeah.
So how do you protect the water when you have that? There's an intake in Lowell, among other communities. And so we decided, if this happens again, we need to actually have hands-on what we're going to. So this is 2 years in the planning. It involved, and thankfully involved, Chelmsford Fire, Chelmsford Police were there, Lowell Fire, Lowell Police, Tingsboro Fire, Tewksbury is involved because they get their water supply from the Merrimack, and also, of course, Mass DEP for pulling us all together. So a lot of time, coordination to kind of pull this type of drill off, and we needed everybody out there to get this done. So my thanks to everybody involved because it's not easy to kind of pull this together, but also they thanked us for, Lowell, Chelmsford, to kind of hosting this event.
It's so important to kind of be able to, if something big happens, you need to
Right.
coordinate with other towns and other departments.
I think we do a pretty good job with that. I mean, we kind of see that with, you guys asked the town manager about the common. And we talk about changes. I mean, you see right out here, to the window, you see the police communication van, Chelmsford Telemedia.
Yeah.
Usually we have a lieutenant and a fire captain working together. We didn't have it a couple of years ago. Well, first of all, we didn't have the equipment, but now we're,
Right.
because of security concerns. We work with DPW, you see they have the roads blocked, but also that we have concerns with access. So we coordinate with them. I was just met with the DPW director, Gary Persichetti, regarding our concerns. And, we work great together. We
So-
go over all the planning, the issues, the logistics, and Steve Craven, our new municipal safety specialist, just started. He was out there as part of this meeting, just looking over the safety aspects.
Now, what about like radio communications?
Right.
Does everybody have a different
we will try to have a common channel that we will go through the communication vehicle that's outside this window here, and then they will dispatch the appropriate call. So years ago, we would have people on the bikes. We still do, but we have them on the Gator with the paramedics. So it involves more than just Chelmsford Police, Chelmsford Fire. We have Trinity involved, Greater Lowell paramedics are involved, DPW's involved. I mean, so we meet, and you talked about planning this the day after.
Right.
And we'll look at it and we'll see, okay, what went well? I mean, we had a couple issues across the street today, and we'll talk about it. How can we improve upon that? And that's one thing I think we do pretty well in the fire service and with the police. We don't just pat ourselves on the back. We'll look at it and say, okay, what can we work on? What can we improve, for next year?
That's great.
So
what is the number one thing that people can do to minimize their chance of going through a fire?
I would say one of the things that we've run into, and we see this a lot, because people sell their homes, they have to actually get an inspection from the fire department. And we try to get the message out through social media, through our office, and I think they do a very good job of that. But your detectors have to be 10 years old or less.
Oh, right.
And we go into these places, and they're yellow, and you
Oh,
can tell
right,
they've been
'cause
there for a
everybody says,
while.
Change the battery, but nobody ever says
It's
change
the
the
age.
actual.
So we actually have to, years ago, we
detector.
didn't do that. So we will pull it down, look at the age. So that's my little
Do they have a
factory.
date on them?
They do.
Can
They
we
do.
use, yeah, we have a Nest system in our
Yep.
house, and it actually, it's really weird, it talks to you.
Oh, I hate
So
that.
Well, no, it's good because.
Wakes you up
if-
too, right?
Well, yeah, no, it does, but
Yeah.
my
So you're
husband
cooking a
burnt-
roast and you got a little enthusiastic, and then you've got some voice in the
Well,
ceiling.
no, my
That you burnt the food and turned it over?
upstairs it says there's smoke in the kitchen. There's smoke. I want to know that.
Well, I guess so.
But
All
they
right.
are smarter
Yeah.
systems, aren't
No,
they?
you know what
They,
I want to, yes,
Yeah,
here's
they
what
are.
I want to ask you about. Fireworks.
Ooh, there
There's
you go.
been a lot of chit chat on Facebook in every community
Mm-hmm.
about what spoil sports people are, towns are because, and states, because we can't have fireworks.
True, true.
So how
And
many
we've been
fires-
approached about that. I mean, Lowell does it obviously, but that's with professionals, and there are certain guidelines
Right.
from the state that we have to follow. But as far as individuals
Yes.
going up and buying them, and every year you'll see somebody who has, and they just had one yesterday up in New Hampshire. I think it was a hand injury, a serious hand
Yeah.
injury
Serious.
from, and the fire marshal I think does a very good job, his office, pushing that message out that, and you don't have to look too far. We just got it right up in New Hampshire. That if somebody gets
I
injured,
don't
serious
know.
injuries
I mean,
too.
if you think about it one way, they're very pretty things. If you think about it another way, they're explosives.
Yes, they are.
Explosives.
And
Do you
what was the
wanna
issue we had last
be
year? It was
drinking?
so dry, and then if you have fireworks and you can start a brush fire, and
That
so-
happens in California.
Yeah, California.
Yeah, crazy,
All right.
crazy, crazy.
I do want to give a shout out if I could. Ron Hubbard, you were talking about people with the town manager, about people who pull this together. Ron Hubbard volunteers his time, like many people, and I,
Right.
and I don't want to leave anybody out, but Ron Hubbard is across the street over there. He coordinates a lot of this. I think this is his last year kind of pulling this together, and I know he's still going to help out. So I want to thank Ron Hubbard
Thank
for
you,
all his
Ron.
help.
Thank you,
Ron.
So
Thank you, Ron.
Ron certainly makes us look good. He does a lot of work. Ron does a great job of meeting with us, helping to kind of address the issues before they become bigger issues.
All right.
So my thanks to Ron and all the volunteers out there.
Yeah.
Because we need them. We need
Yeah,
the volunteers out
absolutely.
there. We need more volunteers. So
Yeah.
to help us to pull this event off.
Right.
So thank you.
All right. Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much.
Thank you.
All right.
Happy Fourth.
Volunteers.
Happy Fourth.
Call for volunteers. Thank you,
Yes.
Ron. All right.
Thank you.
That's great. Thanks.
Yeah, I'm gonna wait for Samantha before we go to the train, I think.
All right, we've got more guests here on the Big Comfy Couch. How are you?
I'm great.
Elise
I'm great.
Locker.
Elise Locker.
I got it.
Yes.
I knew I was gonna
President of
forget.
the Chelmsford Community Band.
Yes. And so, talk to me about the band. What's up with the band? What's new this year?
So we're an adult band made of volunteers. There are about 60 of us. And most of us are professionals on the side. This is just a hobby for us. So we meet actually here at the Chelmsford Center for the Arts and are very grateful to Susan for her coordination and for the upkeep of the CCA, because if it weren't for her and the upkeep, we wouldn't have a place to practice. They have
Yeah,
a
it's a great
beautiful
space.
auditorium here at the
thank
CCA, and you have many other events. So that's my plug for Susan. We are a nonprofit organization, so we do depend on donations from people. We don't pay dues, so a lot of the band members donate, a lot of the community members also donate. We have sponsors. For example, the sponsors for our concert today are Market Basket and Trinity
Oh, nice.
EMS, so that's great. That's awesome. And we will have a program, and people can see the other sponsors as well. We practice once a week, give about 7 or 8 concerts a year.
Year round?
Year round.
Oh, wow.
Right.
Okay.
Every Tuesday night
Right.
on the Chelmsford Common, both the Chelmsford Band and the Chelmsford Jazz Band
Nice.
have a concert at 7 p.m., which is free. And everybody's welcome to come, and we play lots of fun
Do you have
music.
sponsors for that too?
We do. We have different sponsors for the different
Good, okay.
concerts. So, and we have, we're really out there on social media. We have a website, which is chelmsfordcommunityband.com. And we're very excited this year. We actually have the program on the website because we print programs. And of course, you know, with the sensitivity of printing paper, we
Sure.
said, okay, we have this wonderful website. Let's go ahead and use it. So we have the program, and maybe eventually we won't print the program. So we're excited about that. So again, we have the website, we have Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, I mean, you name it. And one other plug I'd like to make, so if anybody's interested in joining the band, you can go to our website and fill out the form, and then we'll contact the person.
Now, what instrument do you play?
I play the flute and the piccolo.
Oh, nice.
And it's a passion of mine. I'm a program manager during the day, and then I play my flute whenever I can, as much as I can.
And how many people are in the band?
There are 60 people in the band, so it's a nice size. It's great. Our conductor is Lucinda Ellert, and she does a great job bringing the band together and enabling us to provide the great music that we do, you know, for the concerts.
So, what's the process if you're interested in joining the band? Reach out to you, and then you audition.
And then there are no auditions. That's a great point. There
Really, because you wouldn't really want me in your
you
band.
filled out the form, we would contact you, and you could come on in. I mean, really, everybody is welcome. We say, you know, seasoned high school players and then adults, you know, that are open. But yeah, it's come one, come all.
And how do you decide what you're going to play for, you know, each venue?
We like to have a theme for each concert. So, for example, today's theme is patriotic songs. On our program, it says "Let the Freedom Ring." We might have themes for example, May 5th it would be Cinco de Mayo. So we have, you know, many, you know,
Everybody drinks.
yeah, you know, upbeat type of theme. So for each concert, we have a theme. Typically, the conductor picks that theme. The band members might also make recommendations for, hey, you know, I really like this piece. Can we play this piece? So it's pretty much theme related, and we have a huge repertoire of music. We must have 6 or 7 file cabinets of music to choose from. So,
Oh, that's great.
so yeah, so we
The
have.
library is downstairs in the CCA. So
Now, do you
the
play
music
an
library.
instrument?
I play piano, not very well, but yes, my instrument is my voice. I
Oh, very
sing.
nice.
And we've done pieces
Yeah,
with the
yeah,
choir
yeah,
before,
yeah,
which
yeah.
is very exciting. We bring
Well-
different groups together.
So I don't play any instruments, and I found out the hard way a long time ago that I have a terrible voice. People kindly told me that I have a terrible voice.
Well, we always have volunteers, similar to all the other activities that are here. We have, when we set up for the concerts, it's made of volunteers.
right,
you
so
could
there's
certainly
people
be the
out-
MC. You
out
could
there
kick off the concert.
Like
and
me,
you could introduce the
who
pieces.
like music, but maybe not the most talented, but you can still be involved and you can still help and you can still be a part of it?
Absolutely, yes. We
that's
would
great.
definitely, we have a board that meets once a week, and there's never, there's always plenty to do. Planning the concerts, planning fundraiser activities. This past year, we played at the Pheasant Lane Mall, so that takes a
nice.
lot of coordination. So coordination of those activities can be time intensive. So yeah, so that there's always that can
All
be
right.
done.
So high school age and beyond.
Correct. Right.
Excellent.
Right. Right.
Excellent. All right.
So again, if anybody's interested in donating, you can go to our website, and we do have a PayPal button there. You know, so
Makes
Yeah,
it
that's makes it easy.
it makes it
the
easy.
easy button. All right.
Yes. Yes.
All right. Well, thank you very much.
Well, thank you, Deb.
Very nice to
Appreciate
meet
it.
you.
Same here. Thank you. Thank you, Susan.
We'll hear you outside in
You know
Yes,
what?
that's right.
about an hour.
Husband makes fun of my singing.
Shoot, we're not on now. No.
How wrong is that? Isn't that wrong? Nobody should tell everybody.
Switching.
Yes. Okay.
And we are back. Maureen Foley has joined us on the couch. How are you doing?
I'm doing really well. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. All right. So I like your shirt.
I like my shirt too. This is just available in Chelmsford.
Oh, really?
It is. It is designed by Peter Reynolds, who is who's a graduate, Chelmsford High School.
Oh, excellent.
He is a best-selling author and illustrator. His latest picture book debuted this past year. I think it was number 7 on the New York Times bestsellers list. We're talking a big celebrity
That's big.
author, illustrator.
Wow.
And yeah, he did The Dot. That's one of his favorite, famous ones. But
familiar
he
with The Dot.
designed this for us to sell as a
Wow.
fundraiser at the library. Limited editions, permission from the publishers. So I'm wearing it today because we have them on sale at the raffle booth that we have today. And tomorrow, we also have them on sale at the library all the time.
All the time. So
Right.
how much does this cost?
Well, this one here is the adult size, and this is $20, and the little ones are $15 for the kids.
Oh, nice.
And this is just one of the ways we raise money. Right now, we have volunteers over at the booth, and they're raffling off this summer. Every summer, there's a different theme for summer reading. I remember a few years ago, Susan and I were on a float together. And the float usually has something to do with the theme. So this year's theme is a universe of stories. So it's a lot about space, of course. So one of the things we're raffling is a pretty decent telescope.
Oh,
Yeah, a
excellent.
telescope and a big basket of like books and local gift certificates and, yeah, come on down. The raffle, unfortunately, is only good until, tomorrow, right after the parade, I think.
all right.
But the t-shirts anytime.
And the money you raise, what does that go towards?
Thank you for asking. It goes to a number of programs at the library, and sometimes we buy like big things to upgrade, like the audio-visual material in the meeting rooms, things like that. But summer is the busy season. We sponsor a
Oh,
lot of
sure.
things in the summer.
Sure.
So one of the things the Friends sponsor year-round are museum passes. but they get really heavily used in the summer. So we want you all to, you don't even have to come by the library, just go on the website and see all the museum passes that we offer, and you can just reserve. That's the word. You reserve the pass.
Elusive
There were a
words.
lot
Did you
of
hit elusive
There were all
words?
those words
Yes.
coming out of my mouth. Okay, so you can reserve it online, and that's all Chelmsford residents can do that. And if you're in another town, then we ask you to join the Friends of the Library, because that's what helps fund it. Now, there are concerts at the McKay branch in North Chelmsford, and that's been going on for 25 years, I want to say, easily. So the ones that are they're Wednesday evenings, starting at 6:30, and the 3 of them in July are for families with young children, and there'll be 3 of them in August for ages 8 and up, but mostly adults.
Right.
And
Have
so
some really named people coming to play for the family concerts or the
that's
kids
right.
concerts.
Yeah.
Right.
Let's see, Ben Rudnick.
Ben
Yeah.
Rudnick, that was
He's going to be. He plays with us every year. He's been playing with us for I want to say 10 years, but he also plays at the Lowell. He'll be playing in Lowell. Yeah. I mean, they're really.
It's quality programming
Thank you.
that the
Right.
library sponsors.
Thank you.
Now,
Thank
what
you.
about the bookmobile?
That the Friends of the Library is on board with that big vision. It's primarily the trustees who get elected by the
So that's a
voters.
library thing, not
That's
necessarily
right.
a Friends of the Library
Well,
thing.
we try to work together because the trustees do a lot of things about policy in the library, but they also do fundraising for big things. So they did come to us and speak to us, and we meet once a month, and we did vote to give them $15,000 towards that.
Towards the bookmobile.
that big bookmobile.
Right.
So that's another place that your membership money goes, or the raffle tickets, or the book sale.
Right.
Thank you, everyone, for
Let's talk
donating
about
books.
let's talk about the books. So I love books. I love
Okay,
really big
Good.
books, and I read them a lot,
Great.
and then I hoard them.
Oh,
I
yeah.
never get
I know.
never get rid of my books. And so
know.
now we have a situation. The bookshelves are full. There's boxes and
You
places.
start weeding and then bring the books to the library on drop-off day.
All right, so let's talk about drop-off day. And can
Okay.
people like me, I don't live here in Chelmsford.
We want early and often.
Early.
That's what we want.
Okay.
We want you to be getting rid
Like
of books
voting?
a little. Exactly. That's where I got it from. Voting. Early and often.
I shouldn't say that.
Mayor Daley in Chicago used to say that. But if you bring a few at a time, you can drop them off at the library itself, outside the parking lot, on the side of the building. There's a big container, a Rubbermaid container. So drop off a few at a time. But if you really have it in your soul that I'm just going to clean out bookcases worth of books and
Yeah.
give it to the library, that's when we ask. There are certain drop-off days for them. It's
okay.
on a Saturday. There'll be one coming up in a week and a half or whatever. Check the website and we'll let you know the next one. That's where we like to take them if it's boxes and boxes and boxes of coming.
And what about the condition? What if they're well loved?
I have to tell you honestly that I myself, I hate this, I'm on television and I'm saying this, I myself
Keep it a
write
secret.
in books.
I
am
do
one
too.
of
I do
those
too.
people.
I do.
Some people do and some people
I
don't.
do.
If it's a favorite book and the reason I'm saving it and I'm rereading it over and over, I'm underlining it, I'm sorry, I can't sell those. So I can't give those to the library in order to sell them. So as I'm getting older, I have learned my lesson and I am not doing that as much anymore so that I can hand over a book to be well loved by someone else.
Well, so that's what's so difficult for me because
I
I
know.
love my books.
I know.
I remember where I was when I read them. And,
Isn't that nice? Gives you
and-
comfort.
but then it doesn't do anybody any good to have all these books that are
Just the ones that don't comfort you. What would?
so.
If it doesn't bring you joy anymore when you touch it,
That's what Marie Kondo would say.
Right.
That's right.
It goes.
All right.
It helps me to
I
know
am not
that
a woo
other people-
person, and that's a very woo philosophy.
I can only part with them knowing that someone else is going to love
That's
them.
the thing. That's
I mean,
that, yes.
that someone else will enjoy this book is how I part with my own.
Right. I remember when Borders bookstore was closing.
I know.
And I was looking
I
to
stayed
get a book, you know, a good price. And I came upon Ursula Le Guin, and I was like, oh, well, I love her, but I've never read this book. And I started reading the book that I got, for nothing. And I'm like, it's like a masterpiece. So something like that, like a found book that you never would have gotten otherwise.
that's right.
And so that's kind of, all right. So I'm geeking out here talking about the book.
I know. Well, I wanted to say a couple more things, and that is I
Sure.
don't want to forget about summer reading.
Oh,
because
right.
I used to be the head of the children's department, and I retired into being the co-president of the Friends of the Library because I was so appreciative of all the fundraising they had done for me all these years, because the summer reading programs are sponsored by the Friends of the Library. So for the little kids, like this year's giveaway is, if you go, you can get like a little ball that would say, like Neptune, I hope it's all like blue, right? Or Uranus or whatever. There's slime inside it. So it's called a planet, but you can open up and play with slime.
That's
Isn't
right.
that a
That's
great
perfect.
idea? Isn't that
It's
a
like
great
slime.
idea?
Perfect.
Great idea. And so actually the middle school and the high school kids, they get like little scratch ticket opportunities to win bigger prizes.
Nice.
Like, yeah. So all
that's
of those
exciting.
kind of incentives
Yeah.
are also paid for by the Friends. And one final thing.
What's that?
The library opened 20 years ago this coming February. And the director at the time told the community it was going to open on February. And the days were ticking off, and we're at the end of February. And she said, we have to open on February. And we opened on February 29th.
Oh, there's a leap year.
It's leap day. So we can only celebrate every so often. And
right.
next
Exactly.
year
Is it?
is a leap year.
Oh,
So in
excellent.
2020, we're going to have a big celebration in the libraries, the
All right. Well,
I
write
think that's
that.
great.
Write that
Yeah.
on your
It's
calendar.
like we're Brigadoon. We only come once a year to do this. The
the
library
library
only
celebrates once every 4 years.
years.
We want 2,020 members.
All right.
By the time
All right.
it's
We
2020.
need people
Is that
to
a goal?
step up.
Great.
All right. Well, thank you so much for sitting
Thank
on the
you for
couch and
supporting
chatting
the
with
library.
us, and
Yeah,
it's been
I know you're a
great.
big supporter of the library. Thank you.
All right.
both.
Bye.
All
Michelle.
right.
All right. Becky Warren on the couch with us today. How are you?
I'm dandy. How are you?
I'm doing great.
Sorry.
All right. With the historical, I always want to say hysterical society.
Well, sometimes we are. Right? Historical Society. I wear many hats. So Susan and I have worked with the Historical Society for several years. And after we finish talking on this beautiful couch with you ladies, I'm going to head over to the Historical Society booth and help sell awesome books about Chelmsford. Because, people that live in Chelmsford, whether they've been here one day or 1,000 days or 1,000 years, everyone wants to learn a little bit about a town that you live in, or about a building, or maybe the house that you live in. What do I know about this house? So anyway, Historical Society is a great place that you can find some books about early Chelmsford history, or maybe you're just really proud that you live in town and you want a magnet for your refrigerator. Or how about a tote bag with the Chelmsford seal on it? So those are all the things that we have at the booth.
Is there still a Chelmsford puzzle?
And there is still a Chelmsford puzzle.
like that
and
puzzle.
one of them is about the 4th of July. It's
Yeah.
got pictures of all the different
saw
4th
that.
of July
I like that
parades.
one, yeah.
So we have that puzzle as well. Oh, and he's in that, so this is even better. Awesome.
Oh, well,
Awesome.
the mystery guest that you're going to see
Mystery
next. We
guest
got
soon,
right,
yes,
yeah.
okay.
Person off, can't see. Here, we're
I
on the
know,
camera.
I know we're on camera.
He's not on the camera. They can't see him. So we'll
True.
just let the
It's mystery.
anticipation build to see who our next guest is.
That's right. That's all good. It's
What is some Chelmsford history that people should know? You should know.
So this celebration, I was listening to the other stories and how Susan was talking about how comfortable it is and what a celebration it is to see people come to the center and just have fun on Independence Day. Well, has this always happened? Well, for 50 years it's been happening, so that's a long time.
That is a long time.
But even before that, in the late 1800s, the town of Chelmsford people knew how to celebrate too. They just didn't do it on the town common. They went up to a place called the Summit House. So for those folks listening, on top of Robin Hill, it's no longer there, but you could have gone up there and had ice cream. You could have had something to eat. You had a view of Lowell and the whole area from the top of Robin Hill, and it was the place to be. So that was the hop-in place with a picnic and celebration.
Wasn't there was, you could take a carriage, a
horse-drawn carriage would bring you from right down here where we are, and it would bring you right up to the Summit House.
Oh, nice.
We should resurrect that, shouldn't we?
Well, but it's really nice on the town common.
It is on the
It
town
really is
common.
nice on the town. So when did the festivities switch to the common?
So, so that Summit House was around in 1898, and then after it unfortunately burned. Where's our fire department guy when we need him, right? It burned, but and then they took a little hiatus from having celebrations. But the town common did end up where people decided to have celebrations. So if you read some of the books, they talk about Ferris wheels and
Ferris wheels.
yeah, on the town common, like in the 1920s and 30s, they had a Ferris wheel and celebrations happening on the town common.
It was
I
like
kinda-
the eye of Chelmsford, like in London,
Wow.
the London Eye. It was
Can you imagine?
I know.
Wow.
I know.
When Ferris wheels were built for the World's Fair, right? When was that?
So,
Well, that would be the French. Ferris was French, right?
right.
So
They were around. I'm not sure I would have,
before
they
the
wouldn't
turn
have
of the
probably
century.
been as big as the
Right.
one that you're thinking about. But they had
Smaller Ferris.
what we'd
were
say
wooden.
amusement rides, yeah, to celebrate the 4th, which to me is better than after like 1777. Their big celebration in Chelmsford was to sit in the church, which was also the town meeting area, and they read the Declaration of Independence for everybody.
Well, I'm sure that's a good idea. That
Yeah,
would
but
really sound like much
I
fun.
like what we have today. I like what we have today, absolutely.
So what's your favorite thing to do out there on the common?
I love standing behind that booth and just talking to people. It's like Old Home Week. It's amazing. You get to see people that you might have graduated from high school with many years ago, and they come back, and they come back to visit. They want to come back to their town. There's
Right.
something about Chelmsford that draws people back. They have moved away, but they want to come back and they want to just look and see, oh, the Historical Society is still around. Oh, the church still has the booth with the strawberry shortcake. And it's a connection. It's a reconnection to their town, which
That's
I think is
excellent.
pretty neat.
That is very neat.
Yeah.
All right. So just talk to me briefly about the Historical Society.
Sure, it's a nonprofit. It's been around since around the 1930s. Its home is based on Byam Road in Chelmsford, and we have a museum, and we have activities that happen there. So it's all volunteer-based. And what it really does is it's a home, it's a house for artifacts and papers and pictures that tell Chelmsford's history. So there will be you know, maybe a stove or a Bible box or this great ball, the wooden ball for Reed's Tavern right down here in the center.
We displayed it here. Remember when we
Oh,
did
when
the
we had-
25
that's
objects
right.
of the history of Chelmsford? Yeah.
So what if, you've been living in your house for a really, really long time and you decide to move and you go in your attic and you find something, I don't know, really old and cool looking.
Until you contact us, and we do have a website, and if you just Google Chelmsford Historical Society, and there's an email that you can contact us, and we'd love to take a look at it. If it's not connected to Chelmsford, to be honest, our house is kind of full, so we don't need a whole
All right.
lot of
So
extra
only
stuff.
good stuff, please.
Only Chelmsford things to help tell the
Chelmsford
story of
things.
Chelmsford.
Right.
There's probably a gem somewhere that we don't know about
Yeah.
that's sitting in somebody's attic, just like you're saying. And
Yeah.
we'd love to be able to show it for
All
other
right.
folks.
All
Oh
right.
yeah, fun times.
Well, thank you.
Oh,
Thank you
you're
for
very
coming and
welcome.
sitting on the couch. This Independence Day holiday.
Celebration, Chelmsford history and Chelmsford today, and that's what people are enjoying.
Yeah.
Chelmsford today.
Chelmsford today for
Yeah.
2 days. The 2 day.
For 2 whole days.
Yes, I like it.
Yeah.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Thank you.
All
Thank
right.
you, Becky.
Sure.
All right, we have got our last guest of the evening. How are you?
I'm doing well, thank
And
you.
I didn't catch your name. Can you tell me your name again?
Jim Curley, Sergeant Jim.
Sergeant Jim. Sergeant Jim, those are some mighty fine spectacles you've got there.
These
Can you?
happen to be modeled after a pair that Paul Revere left at one of the taverns on his famous midnight ride.
Really?
These are prescription, and they're made
Wow.
of glass.
How did you get them made?
Well, they're available online.
You can order anything online.
You can order just about anything online.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing. All right, so
But
I
the
just-
whole costume.
I
right?
love the whole.
Tell us the story.
So yeah, can you tell us
Outfit.
the
Well, your
story?
clothing.
Because
Your clothing.
as soon as he sat down, I'm like, now this is your lunchbox. This is your flask.
This is my canteen that
Your
has something
canteen.
wet in it.
Yeah.
This is my edged weapon. It's just a little bayonet.
Oh, my goodness.
No, it's a little dagger.
I think that's bigger than is allowed on
Of
an
course.
airplane.
Yeah, yes,
Yes.
this is my bayonet.
Oh, they definitely.
Bayonet plugs in. I don't know if we can catch that, but that's a plug bayonet as opposed to some of the other bayonets.
So so you twist it to make sure it doesn't.
Well, I just put it in there so it goes in nice and neatly. And this can double as a hunting weapon if I need it to. But what
Just
everybody
very casual with
really
these bladed
likes.
edges.
So the one thing about this that's important is we don't make them sharp.
Oh, that's good to know.
Because bringing them out in the public like that would not be good.
No.
It's got a point, but that's fine.
All right. Oh, wait.
Oh,
Your microphone. Let's re-mic
All
you.
right, let's go back
And then
here.
we'll just continue right
Sure.
on.
Okay.
Now
Right.
let's talk about your weapon.
This is
here.
a musket. This is a smooth bore musket, which means it's not rifled, which means there's no grooves inside. So it's a 75 caliber.
I never
just
knew
knew
that.
I know. We learned
That-
something new today.
So when you hear something called a rifle,
Yeah.
it's got grooves. Yeah.
That's
so
a-
this is smooth bore. Put your finger in there. You'll see that it's smooth.
You're
We
pointing
don't
it
have-
at me.
No, I'm putting it between us.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. So, but now how does this work?
So it's a 75 caliber, and the ball just went that way.
Oh no! Wait, here
Oh,
we go.
there it is. It's pure lead, so you'll have to wipe your hands afterwards.
Ah!
And we mold these ourselves. I molded this about 2 weeks ago.
Really?
And we fire them. We don't fire them during the parade because that would be
that would be bad.
Right.
So this actually does fire.
Oh yes, this fires. It fires, and this is the fun pack. This is our cartridge box. This would typically be full of cartridges.
Oh, so you wrap your own
We
cartridge?
wrap our own cartridges full of gunpowder. Here, hold that.
Well, that has lead, right?
No.
No, it's just gunpowder.
It's actually got
Revealing my
coffee.
profound
It's actually got
ignorance
coffee
here.
in it.
Yes.
Smell it.
Ah.
We wouldn't carry gunpowder around unless we needed to. So this is for show, but
Okay.
we'll have this chuck full. We wrap our own.
Uh-huh.
We'll go through 400 to 500 of these during the parade tomorrow, because we'll have 15 to 20 guys with us. We'll fire 15 to 20 to 35 times, depending on how many people are there and how many people ask us to fire. So if you want to hear us fire, you have to ask us to fire. And I'm
can
not going to
ask-
run out because I've got room for more on the bottom.
You got ooh, and you're
Oh, isn't that clever?
dribbling.
And, and that's some leftovers.
You got some leftover.
Yeah.
Well, all right. So what years
1775.
to when? Like,
So
what
the-
was the range of years that a weapon like this was being used?
A weapon like this would have been from 1750s or 30s, maybe even all the way up until the Civil War. This
Okay,
is a
so-
flintlock.
So there you are, and it's war.
Mm-hmm.
And what is the process? So you have to shoot.
We do.
What's the process of you getting this ready to take a shot?
I can do that, but I might have to stand up a little bit.
Okay.
Can I do that?
I can do that. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, all
I
right.
think
So,
you're good.
so if I was going to fire, I'd have, first of all, I would take this off. This is we have 3 safety mechanisms here. A flash guard, which stops the flash going off to the person next to me. A hammer stall, which goes here and stops the hammer from hitting the steel if it's not ready. And then when we're at half cock, the trigger will pull. So if we wanted to fire, we would do something like checking. We would check the pan. This is a pan because it holds stuff. That's why it's called a pan.
Yeah.
And there's a touch hole right in the very bottom
Oh, I see
of the
it.
barrel here. It goes right in. So we would take one of these cartridges. Every Minuteman had to have a couple of things. They had to have a musket, they had to have an edge weapon, and they had to have 2 teeth opposite each other.
Okay.
Dentistry wasn't a real big.
That's
big
always
thing
good to
back
have
then.
two teeth
Yeah,
opposite
two
each
teeth,
other.
Right.
Yeah.
And the reason that is because you have to rip the cartridge open. And if I
Here, I'm freeing you from this. I'm going to point this at you so people can hear you. And
Okay,
you're
that's-
free to show us.
All right, good. So that would have to rip the cartridge open, spit it out, and then we would pour a little bit of it in the pan. It's called priming. We would close the pan.
Yeah.
Now I can put it upside down and it won't fall out.
All right,
The
okay.
prime is already, so it's prime and load, it would be prime it. And then we would flip it around. We would drop this with everything in it, and this would have a musket ball in it. If I
Okay.
was firing like that. It would have
Right.
a musket ball in it with the powder in it. I'll just put this down right now. Then we would take the ramrod out, and we would have to ram it down
The
nice and
stuffer,
tight.
right.
Nice and tight, because if you don't ram it tight, it could explode in your face, and we don't want to damage this pretty face. They don't check your head now. And then we put it back, and we don't put our ramrod back when we go to shoot the next time. And if we don't put our ramrod back when we go to shoot the next time, I can't, because if I can't tamp it down, then it's just a big stick. Okay, so then the captain says, make ready. No, actually it says, okay, now we're ready. So at this point, we can shoot. Oop. It's only at half cock.
Oh, so don't
It's a
go
safety.
off.
It
Yeah,
won't go
half
off.
cock.
So if for any reason I'm not ready to go off and I put it down hard like that and it goes off, that's called going off half cocked.
Interesting.
So now you know about
I
that.
learned two things today.
And this happens to be a lock, which is the firing mechanism, the lock, the stock, and the barrel. So if you have lock, stock, and barrel, you have a complete musket.
You have a complete
teaching you
Oh,
musket.
we're learning all of these things.
Wow. Okay, so,
So then-
how long does this take?
Right.
Because there you
fast.
have a
Well-
bunch of people with guns who want to shoot you.
A well-ordered Minuteman or well-ordered Redcoat can do it 3 times in a minute while somebody's firing at them
3 times in a.
in a minute.
Wow.
Yeah. Okay, so watch this. You ready for the spark?
I don't know if I'm ready. I don't know.
You see the spark?
Yeah, I saw it. Yeah.
Okay, so that spark makes the powder in the pan go off. The powder in the pan makes a big boom, and the hot gases go into the barrel. You know what happens then?
Why did he do that to me?
I do that to everybody.
You do. Oh, that's an old trick. All right, I'm putting that back.
Would you like to
So-
make it spark?
No.
Okay, would you like to make a spark?
No.
You want?
Yes, I
I
just-
can tell. You've got to yell boom.
Okay, what do I do?
Just pull the trigger. Right there.
She's like, what part of the CCA was damaged?
So we go around and we make an awful lot of noise. There's 15 or 20 of us during the parade. We are one of the few militia or Minutemen groups that stop, gather together, and then fire. So we'll have 15, 20 people. We'll have 2 ranks. I'll have one, because I'm a little short guy. I'll be in dead center in the middle. We have the second rank in back of us firing over our shoulder, and it makes one big, firing over our shoulder, and it makes one big, loud boom.
Wow.
There are other militia companies that will be in the parade who fire scattered, and they just aren't quite as loud as we are.
Do you wear earplugs?
What's that?
Do you wear earplugs? No, really, do you worry
some
about
people
that?
wear earplugs, some people don't. I have hearing aids in, so what I do is I mute them,
Okay.
and that helps somewhat.
And then that helps them.
It helps somewhat. Yep.
Wow. So
My clothing.
that's a meat. So when they talk about a well-armed militia, this is.
This is kind of what it would be,
This is what
except
it is.
as a Minuteman, we would have to be ready to. So the phrase Minuteman came because we would have to be ready to go on a moment's notice.
Ah.
So we would have a go bag, just like they have on TV, where
Yeah,
wheels
right.
up in 10 minutes. Well,
Right.
horses off in 5 minutes. We would, no matter what we were doing, where
Wow.
we were on our farm, in the store, whatever we were doing, we had to be ready to go. So we'd have a go bag with 3 days worth of provisions. The musket would be handy, the cartridge box would be loaded, and we'd have something in the canteen, ready to go.
Wow. Ready to go.
And that's why we are in outfit and we don't have uniforms. When you see Minutemen companies that have uniforms on, that's fake.
No.
Real Minutemen
Because they
companies.
didn't have uniforms,
There
right?
were,
I mean,
there
they
were no
weren't in-
uniforms. It was not an army. It was just the militia. And the Minutemen were the elite of the local militia. I like to think the handsome ones, the local militia. Just shake your head. yes,
Another
I am.
historical lie, like Plymouth Rock. I
Right.
didn't realize until I got there it was a lie.
It was
Yeah,
it's a
It's a
it's
lie.
a boulder.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, so did
Interesting.
they ever wear, they had uniforms in the Revolutionary War.
Once,
at
once
one
George
point,
Washington,
and-
once the war was formally declared, then they had the Continental Line, which then did have uniforms, yes. But prior to that, it was the Minutemen, the local militia and the Minutemen. And we disappeared once the Continental Line came in because we then became part of the Army.
Very, very interesting. All right.
I want to know how long you've been doing this.
Oh, I've been doing this about 10 years. I wished I'd been doing it about 40 years, but I've been doing it about 10 years. Our captain, John Greenwood, has been doing it for 45 years. And he's been the captain of Chelmsford for, I think, 40 years.
And where do you guys go?
Anywhere and everywhere. We'll have another parade in Pepperell. We did the Bunker Hill Monument Parade 2 weeks ago. We do Memorial Day things. We do everything.
Do you look for other people to join you?
Oh, we're always looking for people to join. Would you two like to join?
Oh, I don't like
do you
loud
have to-
noises. As you, could you tell?
So we're always looking for people to join us. If anybody is interested, boys, girls, ladies, men, we have something that everybody can do. I'm actually the quartermaster. We have extra muskets. I have extra clothing. I have extra accoutrements to be able to get people ready to go. And they slowly but surely replace those with their own things, and it goes back in the trunk.
Oh, that's a great idea.
Yeah. So see me, see any of us during the parade, not the other militia.
Oh, not the other militiamen.
Chelmsford. See Chelmsford.
Be loyal, people.
And we can
Be loyal.
get people going.
All right.
Yeah.
Maybe
All
we'll
right.
find some new people for you.
Excellent.
Sure.
Well, thank you very much. I had a little history lesson today.
You bet.
Learned some things.
See you later,
and
friend.
This is it for us for our July 3rd Independence Day session on the Big Couch. We've had such a great time. So
Been good.
thank you very much.
You bet.
All right. Go
Thank
out there,
you.
have fun, enjoy the commons, and see you tomorrow.
Okay. There we go.